Alright, we're going to start a teaching game against 9Q. And I also want to see how these 9Qs match up against like Fox 2 and 3Qs. It's a fine move, but being with the rank disparity, I am going to pincer to see how he actually responds. I personally don't like this invasion because of the pincer move. It's not like horrible. Don't get me wrong, it's not horrible. That's not a good move because that clears up a lot of Aji that you could have like used the bottom for. So that kills a lot of the invasion off the bottom. Plus, I can still go under here, and you can't really do much about that. So that gives me like a big corner. That move right now is not that great. I can actually ignore that move, or I can just jump up this way. Yes, you can fly in the corner, like he just did, but I can still get most of the corner. See, like, this is where I can actually just take an advantage. Since he actually did that move, this little peep here is no longer available. So I am actually just going to invade here. It's very good. I usually like the fly-in move, but that's not a good move because now his Hane is not that effective anymore. It's also not a very good move. I can double Hane on this, and that's basically exactly what I'm going to do. That move just doesn't make any sense, because you're essentially just giving me like free points. You're legit just giving me free points. Probably shouldn't do this, actually. Because it's Gote. Whatever. It's a lot of points. He is building the influence on this side, which is something I usually want to avoid. There is a small peep move here later on in the game. I'm not going to answer that. See, I'm actually breaking his influence over here. So like his wall here isn't that useful. It's not something you want to do. Definitely not something you actually want to do. And this is kind of Gote for him because there's just not much here. So at this point, I'm going to do this. I think usually this is not a good move. I usually would go here, but I do want to. I mean, there's no cut there. That's a pretty good move. That's actually a pretty good move. It deprives me of my corner territory. I think the longer you actually invade this, like the better it is for me, because I just build more of my. I'm not going to respond to that. You can probably just ignore that, but that's not a good move because I can just go under. I want to do this because if I jump in, he's actually dead. Is he? Nah, he's good. I'm just going to do this. It's actually not bad, but I mean, it's not. He can't kill me. That's not good. If you want to do this, you want to cut here, because if you do this and I just Tiger's Mouth, it's not very good for you. And now you're running these stones essentially to nowhere. It's fine. That's not a good move. You're bumping your own liberties. And at this point, I think I can just force you downward because I'm not really afraid of these stones. Also, I'm just going to do this. Actually, that might be a bad move. I don't know if this is actually alive or not. Oh, you could do that. 2, 3... yeah, that's a bad move by me. My bad, my bad. I'm not going to... That's actually a bad move by me. I don't think he needed to answer this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. He didn't need to answer that. My bad. Oh, that could have been pretty critical, actually, if he didn't answer that. Because he could have flown down here. But now... I'm actually going to continue to attack him here. He doesn't have all that many liberties. Really doesn't have that. I don't want him to get this, though. He can't double Hane on this. Well, yeah, he can, actually. Bottom. It's probably... This is not a good play by me. I'm not playing well. Because I'm actually letting him get out, and this is not a very good game for me right now. Not too concerned, but really not too concerned at this. He still doesn't have eyes yet, is the real thing. He can get one eye, but then he can't really get any more. I'm pretty sure he could have lived down here. I mean, this was a bad move. I definitely shouldn't have done that. Because like he could have just let Tanuki'd on that one. But realistically, just like pretend that this move and this move don't exist, and this fight would kind of work out the same way. I also think he messed up here, and I'm basically playing these moves. I'm essentially playing these moves to show you guys... essentially playing these moves to kind of show you guys like how to fight certain things. Realistically, I'm just going to go here and kill him. Actually, yeah, this is going to be Atari here. And then push. It's not going to be all that useful. Just going to jump. He can't kill this stuff down here, and he has very few liberties here. But I definitely made some mistakes there. I mean, like, I'm playing a teaching game, so I'm kind of seeing how he will actually play. But like I said, this move was definitely a mistake by me because he could have ignored it. I'm pretty sure he could have. Because I would have to go here. Then he goes here, and he's got 4 on the bottom, which is alive. It's not all that concerning. I'm just going to go jump back. And essentially, I am going to just do this. There's nothing you can do there. See, you're bumping your own liberties. I can just Atari. That's a good reverse avalanche, but since I have like several liberties afterwards, it doesn't actually work against me. Can I do this? Yeah. Yeah, so this is fine. It's a really bad move. 'Cause, I mean, I think he's looking at the Atari here, but that doesn't do anything for him. I don't actually need to do that, but this is just to make it a little more clear. It's fine. I actually don't need to do that either. That's actually kind of a wasteful move. I probably should have played over here or something. I mean, that looks big, but there's actually not that many points there because all I can do is push one down. Something like, I can't actually do that, I guess. No, I can, never mind. Something like this is going to be, see, you're looking at the cut here, I know, but this is already an Atari, so this move is pointless. I'm just going to go ahead and make the bottom territory. You when a group is dead like this, you can't make bad forcing moves that don't actually force. You do actually need to think all these things through, because otherwise you're just giving me free moves. And if you give me free moves, if you give anyone free moves, they're generally going to win the game against you. So go ahead and make some big moves. It doesn't do anything either. At least I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. See, essentially you're just letting me get more points. And like, even if there was something over here, I can just sacrifice these two. But I don't have to sacrifice anything right now because it doesn't really work. Do you believe he's several liberties short on this? I'm just going to connect. Okay, I'm going to connect here. He's going to try to force, and that's not going to work because I have like 3 liberties and not 2. And plus there's always this ko. I just don't really want to fight it right now. This is like the difference between analysis games and no analysis games. I don't think if he was able to use analysis, he probably wouldn't make these moves. I'm just going to take this. He probably wouldn't make those moves if this was like an analysis game. Because he would be able to see that this doesn't work. And that's why I say like analysis kind of like screws up gameplay. That's why I say analysis screws up gameplay, like it screws up like defining a real rank. Because it negates reading skill. It actually negates reading skill.
You have won.
All right, let's actually go back and review this game. Basic start. So like obviously optimal is here, but I would have actually done. I think I would have actually done this in a regular game, but you know, since it's a lower ranked teaching game and I want to have something to review, this isn't a bad choice either. This is definitely one of the pincer choices, and this actually creates like more situations where like more mistakes can be made, so it's better for teaching. So I basically just played here, but regularly I would actually play there. This, yes, this pincer move is probably better because then it forces me to react. You know, like you can see that this variation is kind of like how it's supposed to play out. This is not a variation that I'm all that familiar with, by the ways. But you know, you kind of white kind of like gets outside influence and the cut, and then black kind of gets kind of like black sort of, well, I probably did this wrong. So essentially, yes, 12, 13. And then, you know, this cut is right here. So you would have to somewhat like do this or something. My guess is like that. Neither side gets very much, but that's actually fine. Because white gets a little bit on the outside. I don't really like this for white, but it's not that great for black either. So that's kind of like this weird variation. But I'm pretty sure I was pretty sure he wouldn't play like that because I can't even see that variation, honestly. So he's going to jump out, which is the next most obvious move. I'm going to jump as well. This is a very bad move because if you don't do this, later on you have the option of doing something like this. And essentially, like, you have the option of maybe like living down here. Since when you do this, you're getting rid of all that Aji and you're just giving him the points here. I jump, of course. I want to keep pincering on that side, keep up the pressure. He does this, which is fine. I do this. I still get this territory down here. Then he does that. Now, that right now, that's a good closing move. But it's not big enough for me to answer right now. This group is fairly settled, so I'm going to invade over here. He does that. I do this. That's not a good move. The way you should play this is that's the way you should actually play this. That's the actually Joseki. When you do this, same thing as over here. Same thing as over here. You solidify my bottom. I get these points down here. And you already have the stone here, and that's like, you already have the stone here, so it doesn't get you nearly as much. Doing that, Hane, that's also bad. This is pretty obvious. I could have also just done this. So you couldn't double Hane. Even if you do that, I mean, like, even if you do this, I can just take this, and you don't really get all that much. I probably should have extended backwards, honestly, but I'm just going to do this. Yeah, I definitely should have extended. Either backwards or I should have extended like this. Because if you do this, I can just... actually, no, this Hane is kind of weird, but... Now, if you do this, I can honestly just do this. And you would have to, like, do this. And I would just kill this corner. And then you have this thing over here. So, I mean, I basically just took the stone. That's definitely not the best response. But it's an adequate one. Also, the correct move is you should extend down here. Because then you can get this. And this is also Sente. So that is the way you would actually play that. And that's why, like, you generally, like, white wouldn't actually Hane down here. Because if you do that, if he extends, you don't really have a choice except to extend with him. Atari here, Hane here, and then it's your Sente. So it's still a loss for him to do this, obviously. But this would be actually a lot better shape for him than what it actually came out as. So I connect, and since that's already connected, like that doesn't apply anymore, I can just extend here. you do that. If you extend and I extend here, then obviously, I've got a lot of problems. Right, so Atariing this first, definitely a bad move. I get the corner here. I probably should have just, like, realistically, I probably should have just done this, because that gets me the points, and like it leaves me the option to play the knight's move, and if he blocks, that's Sente for me then. So, probably not a good option. He blocks, I connect, he does that. This is not necessary right now. It looks big, but it's not really necessary. This is way bigger. This is like, that move is way bigger. So he does this, I ignore it, I do that, he does that, I extend over. In this situation, since you've got such a huge moyo over here, you definitely want to somehow attack me, whether it's like invading here and playing this variation to playing this variation to build up your Sente moyo, and then just playing this, and then just playing this. Like, that builds up your moyo here. And actually, like, if he did this, like, it's not that bad for him. But since you play this way, you're letting me just destroy your, like, you're letting me invade your thickness and destroy the moyo. Forcing here is fine, but letting me jump up is definitely not good. Potentially, you might want to do something like this later on in the game if you didn't do that, and try to build up your upper thickness here for some points. But I don't think forcing me to jump up is really that great either. That is not a good move, because it's Gote first of all. I don't have to answer this. Then I'm going to go down here. Like I said, this probably isn't a great move. This is probably better, or even just having the knight's move on the corner. But I want to see how he reacts when I actually go close to this. So he actually invades my corner, which is actually a pretty good move. I block this way. Now, my guess is I probably should have I think I should have double Haned, and because my 2 stones here limits his expansion over here, and this is actually a lot of territory here. So I think I should have done that, but I kind of wanted to build up the moyo for a fighting game, so I did this. Keeping on crawling, I just don't think is that great. And you don't crawl the 4th one, because I'm not going to answer. If I don't answer the 3rd one, then, you can double Hane up. And I have to, like, do this so you can do that. But if you already crawled, like, the 4th one, that doesn't work nearly as well. Like, if you double Hane, I'm just going to do this. So he does do that. That is actually, like, the way you would play this is definitely the double Hane if you're going to do that. You don't just do this. I can go right under. I can either go right under, or I can even do this. And that would actually give you a lot of trouble. Because you can't really connect the stone anyways. But I decided to go right under. I don't know if that was a good decision. I was actually thinking, if I did this, would this be, if I did this, like, would this actually be Sente? Because if he just, like, jumped out here or something, could I actually kill him here? And I don't think I could. Because, actually, no, he's dead. Never mind. Never mind, he's dead. So he actually does have to answer that. So he definitely does have to answer that. Because if he does this, he does that. And he's just dead here. So, yeah, he does have to answer this. No, but he's got this, though. So I guess he's not dead. Because, do this, I would actually do this. But I guess he could do this. Then if he ran out, I think he's still dead here, though. Yeah, just do that. If he does this and does this, I can just connect this one, and he's still dead. So yeah, he does actually need to do that. But if I connected, since I connected, he could actually do this, and that would get me in a lot of trouble because I can't really do anything about that. So bad, yeah, so like, this would actually be the move to go, I guess, because well, no, because he can still do this. I guess that wouldn't work. No, he can still do that. Yeah, that would just be then this would just be a bad move. Because there's nothing you can do about this. You would have to actually let this go. So I was thinking about that, but like I was like, yeah, it doesn't look really safe. So this isn't dead because you can't actually connect this home because you can just do this. So I did make the right move. I Haned on top. I Atari'd on top. Then I took this. Now that's actually a bad move. The way you would, if you want to play this, you have to play this way, because that actually forces me to come out here, and that's actually what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. I would do this. And then I think these three you can run out a lot easier. I wouldn't really be able to kill these three. And this group still wouldn't be that strong. If you ran out, I would probably do this first. Then you would have to do this at this point. And then I would probably try to surround these three or something like that. These three are not easy to kill. These 4 stones aren't that easy to kill, because this is Sente. And yeah, like this group is pretty hard to kill, and that actually wouldn't be a very good thing for me. I mean, I'm still winning because I have all of, like, cause he gave me all of this basically, but that's basically how that turned out. So if you're gonna play this variation, you have to know to cut here, because if you do this, then I just protect this cut. I'm no longer weak, and your 2 stones are very weak. That's fine, but I'm gonna just like cover over. That's okay. It's not the greatest move in the world, but it's okay. Then you do this. That's a bad move by me, because I think that's a bad move, because if you do this, let me check. Oh no, it's a good move. Never mind. No, actually it's not, because yeah, that's alive, so I can't actually kill that. That was a bad move by me. I didn't really play that out, but that's a bad move by me. He didn't actually have to do that, so I play this. He does that. He didn't have to do that, so when I play that, he obviously can just go down here or something. So, and that would make this really, really hard to kill, or if you're not confident enough, you can just go down here, and that would make it really, really hard to kill. So he does this. I'm going to come over. He does that. I feel like if he just did something like this, it would actually be pretty hard for me to kill. Remember, like, I can always go downwards, but so that doesn't really help him. But, you know, just jumping out here, like, I feel like this is just a really hard group to attack and kill. I would still attempt it, but it is actually pretty hard to attack and kill. And honestly, this probably would have been it might have been better served for me if I just did this. So I Hane, that's not very good because it lets me do this. At this point, you would probably just do this and double Tiger's Mouth, because that's actually a really this is going to be very, very hard to kill. This is definitely going to be pretty hard to kill. You could opt to go on top, I guess, or at this point, or you could just connect. And I would do something like this. I would keep on trying to attack it, but I'm not very confident in if I can kill this group or not. That's the problem. So he connects. I extend out. This is still pretty hard to kill because, I mean, if you do this, you're still outside. I think it's more viable for me to kill it now, but it's still very, very hard group to kill. So I do that. He comes up. This is actually a pretty bad move. Because it lets me surround way too easily. You can see here I'm already really far ahead, white plus 28.7. So like my general shape and my general territory is much greater than his. So he does this, I surround this, and now you can see it's 45.5. At this point, he's basically dead. Of course, I'm going to extend out. Remember, if someone pushes, you don't have to block. You can extend out if it makes a better shape. He does this, I obviously do that. He does this, I'm going to do this. He does this, I'm going to do this first, because he has to fix this cut. If he doesn't, and I just disconnect, then he's dead. He does that, I'm going to Atari first, and then he does this, I connect, he jumps out. So I've already got this bottom. He has roughly 5 or 6 liberties in here, and there's just no way he's going to be able to compete with me out here. Jump up, I'm just going to get these home. He does that. I'm going to take this territory. There is some Aji here. I mean, there is some Aji here. because I have to do this essentially. And there is like some Aji here, I guess, but I would probably just let him have those two at this point if he played that way, because you know I'm already up by so much that this isn't going to swing a game. So that's probably how you would play that. Like, I could also block on this side. I could also block. I probably would block on this side. Yeah, then there wouldn't be too much. I guess I should just block on that side. So if you do this, I can just go over here. There is still this cut though, but since this is dead in here, it's not nearly as threatening. So yeah, like at this point, there's just no way. At this point, there's really no way he can do anything. He blocks, I block. Of course, that doesn't work. That really doesn't work because he's way too tight on liberties. That doesn't do anything because that just bumps him. He does this, and then he does this. But since I'm extended, that doesn't do anything. This trading Tiger's Mouths, Tari, and then connect. Just fixing all my problems, essentially. That doesn't do anything, so that's not a good move. I was thinking about trying to kill this group, actually. Because I'm not really sure if he can make two eyes here. But see, the thing is, if I do this, that's actually Sente, so I actually have to connect, and then he connects. Pretty sure this is alive, so I didn't think I could kill this. So I didn't do that, although this is very, very big. I'm going to try to kill this. That's not useful. And essentially, like, you doing this gives me this move, which honestly kills all of these stones. So that's another big thing that he let me do. He cuts here, I connect, he comes out, I obviously just kill him. And there isn't really that much to be said after this. I mean, these are just finishing moves. He does this, he tries to come out. But of course, you know, I'm just going to fix all my issues. And these moves are not all that useful. That move is like, you don't want to make moves like that. That just gives the opponent a free move. You're already in Atari. This move doesn't give you any points, and plus it doesn't threaten that cut. So I'm just going to formulate this. And you can see like my lead just grows wider and wider with every move because he's making a lot of moves that I don't have to answer to. Now, this isn't a close game, so it doesn't matter. But if it was a close game, moves like this would be game losing. That's also kind of game losing because that's like literally 1 point. And it doesn't really threaten this in here. So I get another move here, so I win by even more. I do this. He does that. I connect. He does this. I connect. There's no Aji in here at all. And at this point, he resigns because now a lot of this was actually lost here. But even before all of this, like mistakes in this corner, you can see the score capture up there. Mistakes in this corner already gave me advantage here of like 5 points or 3 points at least. I didn't take full advantage of them. And mistakes here gave me even more of an advantage. You know, even before any fighting began, I'm already up about 9 points just on this. Of course, doing this gives me more of an advantage because like the whole point of building this moyo is to extend this territory, and doing this already, I kind of like broke it, and you can't really kill these 2 stones. So he does this, I jump up. So if you look at the sequence, realistically, even before we start fighting in the middle, he's already down by about 11 points. So just regular play gets him down by about 11 points here. I mean, the score estimator isn't perfect. The score estimator definitely isn't perfect, but White's definitely ahead at this point. Because White has already this territory down here, and he has a lot of potential here, where Black only has this, maybe this small corner, and a couple of points down here. So Black doesn't really have the potential for points. White still has a lot of potential for points. He does this. I'm going to go this. Obviously, that's not a very good move. And like I said, the rest of these are like fighting mistakes. Like this is definitely like this cut, because I can't like go this way when you cut. So I would have to play here. I would actually have to play here. And you could even just play here, and I would probably have to do this, and then you can fly down and try to kill my stones. Although, admittedly, that would be kind of hard. because you have a vulnerability up here, obviously. Like even with this, you have a vulnerability here. But I think this ladder works. I don't know about the stone. I think the ladder actually works for him, so I wouldn't do that. Or I might just go down here, but then again, you know, this is kind of tricky as well. I probably would just do this and get this side, but then you can just attack this group. You can attack this group here. So there's a lot of things he get done, but that cut is definitely the move. And that's just like a fighting strength mistake. If you do this, I get rid of that error, and now you have to run your middle group, which is pretty weak. So that's how he starts losing. Obviously, I explained a lot of the mistakes in here that led to that group's death. But you know, even like even when I make this move, when I make this mistake, I'm still up by like almost 30 points. Even if he had done this, you know, I could have done something like this, and I probably still could have like gotten this territory and still attacked this group, and he doesn't really have any territory to match. So even without that fight, I'd be up like 30 points. And that's generally like you have to recognize those. You definitely have to recognize like those kind of shapes and those kind of advantages that you can actually get to get out from under like the SDK, DDK area. So hopefully you learned something from this. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. I'm always willing to play more teaching games on this level. I wish like, I honestly wish that OGS would actually let me expand the ranks. Like I would ideally want the range to be about 12Q to like 6Q, but it only lets me go down to 9Q. So hopefully OGS fixes that sooner or later. So hopefully you learned from this. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.